Dr. Golman here again, and part of the Concept Domination site is I want to be able to create a site that has just a wealth of knowledge for you guys. So I'm going to be doing these regular videos when I get questions from Beamers or from other people, or I'm kind of inspired, or Spirit gives me some kind of piece of knowledge. I want to start putting it down in video, and I think this is a great way for us to learn. Before, when we did concept therapy classes, no one really ever had a way of learning beyond that. So anyway, I'm going to do this video on the electron, and I'm doing this because I've had several people read that first chapter. The first chapter is about the creation of the world, but the second chapter is the first phase in the evolution of consciousness, is about the electron. And I took physics and organic chemistry, and so when I read this, it made a little more sense to me. But I had so many people ask about it, I thought it'd be good for you to know. Well, all right, let's understand the electron and the atom. So I'm going to make it very simple. First of all, why study this? Well, we know that atoms are the building blocks of life. Okay, so everything's made of atoms. However, what is an atom? So if you take an atom, you got this little circle, it's an atom. The middle of it has a nucleus, right? The nucleus has protons, which are positively charged particles, and neutrons, which are neutrally charged particles. Okay? And then the third aspect of this is the electrons. So inside you have protons and neutrons, and the outside you have electrons. Protons, neutrons, and electrons are considered to be subatomic particles. So an atom, so sub, meaning less than or smaller particles. So here's the key to this thing. If everything's made of atoms, and you've got a nucleus with protons and neutrons, well, what happens is the electrons are spinning around the nucleus 6 billion revolutions per second. That quick spinning creates the illusion of matter. So I feel like this stuff is real. It creates water, it creates solids, gases, all those things. So why know this? Why study this? Well, here's the thing. Science has deduced that there has to be some type of consciousness inside these electrons that are spinning around the nucleus. So the question is, well, what tells these electrons to spin around the nucleus? What's telling them to do that? Well, we would deduce that religion says, you know what, God is within everything. So we kind of can deduce that what's telling these electrons to spin is the consciousness of God, or God consciousness. So here's the thing. The electrons, let's say there's 6 electrons that are spinning around a nucleus, that makes a carbon atom. And therefore that's number 6 on the periodic table. So number 1 through 92, when Dr. Fleet wrote this text, I think now there's more elements, but the number of electrons dictates its number on the periodic table, which dictates its properties. Therefore we get solids, gases, and all those things. Here's why this is important for the soul. The soul is individualized consciousness, meaning God is the consciousness, but there's a certain evolution in life where you got plants, minerals, animals, you've got these things that are all guided by God, instinct. But what happens is, at a certain point, the soul is born, and it's a separate individualized consciousness. Well, that consciousness is like a mini creator. You guys have all heard the statement that man was made in the image and likeness of God. Well, God is the creator. That means he made little mini creators. And because Spirit is busy molding matter to eventually be a more perfect vehicle for perfect spiritual expression, God made you, or the Spirit, or the X, which is the unknown power, made you to be able to reason and to be able to create a new reality. He wanted to be able, or it wanted to be able to have something that could, in essence, understand what it was in itself. So here's why this all matters. The moment you create a thought, you gotta understand your brain is made of electrons. When you think a thought, it starts spinning those electrons right around the nucleus. And what it does is when those electrons spin, it displaces other electrons around it, creating a wave of concentric spheres, meaning like this. So right now, if I go, I'm going to sit here and think about something that makes me really angry, I will start sending out anger vibrations or waves, frequencies, which then attracts other people who are angry. That's why when you can think about, sometimes you think about your mom and she calls you, or your mom thinks about you, you call her. It's because those electrons are changing and spinning at a certain rate where it resonates with mom. Here's the key. The soul is a bit of consciousness that can change its rate of vibration. A rock can't do that. This concept therapy text, paper, it can't choose to do that. You can. So listen, souls, you've got a huge responsibility here. You can change your rate of vibration. You're the only thing that's been put on this planet that we know of that is able to do that. So changing from anger to patience literally changes your reality. Now you hear a lot of things in terms of self-development and self-improvements that people, or books and audios and programs talking about what you think creates your reality. Well, I wanted to do this little electron video because, yeah, what you think creates your reality, but why? If you understand the principles of the electron, I think it'll make it more and more clear as to why that occurs. And one of the suggestions I have is I'll hold this up for the camera. You'll see this is the picture of an atom with 6 protons and 6 neutrons in the middle, in the nucleus, and 6 electrons around the outside. And my suggestion to you is I want you to do a little bit of study on electrons, because Dr. Fleet wrote this text and he started with science and theology, and he wanted people not just to be happy believers, or he calls it cheaper believers in a happiness cult. He wanted people to really understand the fundamental behind thoughts creating reality. So here's the deal. You're a soul. In other words, you decide what you are. I've decided I'm a soul. I'm a chooser. But you can choose what vibration. You can choose how to impregnate those electrons with your consciousness. You can impregnate them with thoughts of fear and anger. You can impregnate them with thoughts of poor or lack. But you know what? Why do that? Why not impregnate your mind with thoughts of abundance, success, monetarily, physically, emotionally, spiritually? That's what this whole program is about. So I hope that gives you enough data and something to think on. Signing off.